All right, so this is a very brief demo on this exercise or this activity, the exploring materials activity, and it comes right out of this book right here, Mary Hayfley's book, Exploring Studio Materials, which the chapter that we're looking at is on Canvas, but also I really recommend this book. And I have copies of it here if you're in the neighborhood and you want to stop by and look at it or photocopy or take a picture of a page or so. But the process here begins with just simply exploring various types of drawing materials. And it's kind of a playful thing. I want you to think about it as if you've never held a pencil in your life, maybe. Maybe that'll be helpful. I don't know. But the idea is to think about drawing not as drawing a picture. And I really don't want you to draw a picture. I don't want you to think about drawing a picture, but I want you to think about working with various types of drawing materials, graphite and charcoal and so on that are listed in the book. So this is an example of what I mean. First of all, get a whole bunch of different types of pencils. So I just grabbed this out of the drawer over here in the Art Ed Studio. And so there's not a whole lot of pencils in here, but there's a few different variety. And then I also have a box of charcoal that's in the drawer as well. But I want you to kind of selectively choose a variety of types of pencils, different kinds of pencils, and look at the list in the Hayfley book for what I mean by that. And then basically just start making marks, just seeing what's going on with the pencil. Press really, really hard, and then try to be really soft, and maybe hold the pencil from on top and make wide marks and press really lightly. Maybe try going in just one direction. And then let me try maybe going in the other direction. Just try to make different kinds of marks. The idea here is that we are working with the pencil and we're not using the pencil. If you're having coffee with a good friend, you're responding to what your friend says, and maybe you're talking really about one particular subject, but maybe you're just sort of like seeing where the wind goes, and you say something, they say something, you say something in response, but maybe it just kind of happens as it goes, but you're responding with each other. You're not really using each other. I mean, I hope that isn't something that normally that you would be thinking about, is like using your best friend, right? You work with your friend to maybe get something done, or maybe have a nice meal together, or just take a walk or something like that. But it's not using your friend to take a walk. It's walking with your friend. So it's kind of like something like that, perhaps thinking about walking with the pencil. And after a few minutes, you try something else. So maybe a shape emerges as you're going, and then maybe the shape changes, and maybe you change the way you're holding the pencil, and the shape changes again even more. And then maybe you try pressing really lightly, and you might need a pencil sharpener nearby, because after a while the pencils might start getting dull. But if there's any point left to it, maybe then I make very, very short marks, very, very short marks. I come down really close to it, make tiny, tiny short marks like this, like little tiny, tiny, tiny marks. Like now they're dots. Suddenly I'm making dots. I find myself working with the pencil to make dots, and we're making dots. So the pencil now is saying, make dots with me, make dots with me. And after a while, I might want to switch to another piece of paper, and I might kind of like making dots. Maybe make some dots over here because there's nothing else around that. So now me and the pencil, we're making dots together, and it's kind of turning into a little bit of a circle. That's interesting. I didn't expect to be making a circle of some sort. And now maybe, let's see, the pencil, maybe I'm bringing it down this way a little bit, and it's becoming a little bit more of a column perhaps. And then I'm kind of getting bored with making dots. So now the pencil is saying, keep going with a press harder and kind of make lines, like little short lines. And anyway, that's kind of interesting. I didn't really see where that was coming from. That was fun. Well, after a few minutes, then I'm going to switch pencils. This is an ebony watercolor, Prismacolor ebony pencil, jet black, and it's the extra smooth variety. Let's see what else I have in this box over here. I've got some charcoal pencils, have a lot of these ebony pencils. Like I said, I just grabbed this out of the drawer over here. I hope you'll be a little more, you'll look purposefully look for varieties of pencils. Mary Hayfley has a list in there in her book with all different types of pencils when you go to the art store to look for different types of pencils. And I'm going to try a charcoal pencil now. So I'm going to take a charcoal, And I'm going to just start, maybe I'm going to change my grip a little bit. So that's the trick, is to change your grip. So I'm going to work with the pencil from the very far back at the very edge and just sort of see what kind of marks we can make together here. Is kind of a stuttery, scattery little speckly marks. And I'll see if I can make a smoother mark with, look at that. So this sort of smooth mark that I expected to make by holding it lightly like this is not really all that smooth and simple. It's kind of wavy. What happens with the charcoal if I use the edge? I see I'm holding it from up above now, and just kind of going back and forth. And maybe if I go in the same direction, oh, there's this texture that we're creating. We're creating an intriguing looking texture as I go along here. And I wonder, I saw how dark this got over here with the ebony pencil. I wonder what charcoal, how dark will this charcoal pencil go? Oh, that's fascinating. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but it's there. I start to see charcoal, little like whips of charcoal kind of, this reminds me of something. What if I kind of take those and I move my finger around and oh, that's a different way. That looks different. That's a whole different type of a thing. And if I can kind of blow it out this way, well, not blowing really, but I'm kind of spreading with my finger, and it maybe looks a little bit like wind or something like that. So the trick about this is to keep trying different kinds of marks and different kinds of possibilities. And when you start to feel like you're getting bored, actually, you know what? That's often when the really good stuff happens. So you start to recognize, I'm getting bored of this. Then just say something, just another 5 minutes. Let me just see if I can hold the pencil or the charcoal, hold it in a slightly different way, and maybe mix up the marks just slightly in a different way and see if something else happens. Often when I start to feel bored, if I can push it past the boredom, then kind of really cool stuff starts to happen. Remember, the idea here is that we're just playing. We're not trying to make the charcoal or the pencil do any one particular thing. We're asking the pencil, what do you want to do? What can you do? What would you like to do with me? How can I help you do what you want to do? Now, see how hard I'm pressing right here? Now now you start to see that this shape, it's becoming a shape right there. It's becoming a shape as I'm doing it. This is much, much blacker than this pencil one over here. I wonder if you can see that on the video. I'm not sure that you can or not. And then the other thing that Hafele talks about is labeling, so you don't forget. So this was Prisma, color, ebony, and you might have a whole bunch of different kinds of things, different kinds of pencils, so you'd want to label them. And then this was charcoal, and the type of charcoal this is 557 2B medium charcoal. You see how it's written right there on the pencil. So I would put this charcoal 557 2B medium. And now then you want to go to another page, and I'm going to try this charcoal over here. I'm going to open up not the charcoal pencil, but the raw charcoal. And these containers that we have here in school, we have different types of compressed charcoal, vine charcoal, willow charcoal. We also have some graphite, compressed graphite. This one is, I'm reading it. I don't think you can probably see it on the video. Maybe you can. This is a compressed graphite. And I just want to kind of see what happens with that. So holding it very kind of softly at the edge, then maybe I'll do just at the very edge of it straight. And then what happens if I kind of turn my hand a little bit like this? Turn my hand a little bit like that. Oh, I see, I got it. And then if I press down really hard. Oh, now, okay, I got it. That's interesting. And so then I'd want to label this, and I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to try some of this willow charcoal, which is from burned willow branches, and it's really, really dark. The willow charcoal wants to be super dark, and so, but if I'm holding it on the edge like this, and I'm kind of holding down a little bit on the front, but not so much on the back, so it's kind of creating. See how we're making this kind of a shape where it's kind of an uneven darkness, and maybe holding it this way, going sideways on it. And what about it? What if, how do I just try to like break it in there? See, oh man, look at that. Will you look at that? Oh, that's really cool. That is really cool. Look how dark that is. That is extraordinary. So, so I'm blending it with my fingers here, but we also have these blending stumps. These blending stumps, which you can, pick up one of these or borrow, come into the studio and work with it here. But these will help smooth out, especially charcoal, anything that has a little bit of a powder to it. So you see, I'm playing, I'm exploring to see what kind of marks I can make. That's how it starts. What kind of marks can I make? And then when you really are truly good and done and bored and can't think of anything else to do, you've worked with all the materials that you picked up at the store or all the materials you can find here in the art studio. Then the next thing, the last thing that I need you to do is to go back to the marks that you've made and look at them for their feeling. How do the marks feel? At the end of a really good conversation or a really nice dinner with a friend, you might go home and think, wow, that conversation really was very energetic. I just feel so alive. Like every synapse in my brain is just on fire. That was such an energetic conversation. Or maybe that was so relaxing, or that was such a relaxing evening, or, that was kind of pissed me off when I was with my friend, and they said that thing about that movie that I thought was really cool or whatever. I'm just making stuff up now, but sometimes you can finish an outing or a walk with a friend or dinner with a friend and be kind of pissed off too. So there's always this emotional feeling to things, to life. Life as a human being is filled with emotion. So what Hatefully asks us to do then, on page 45, you can see a list of expressive ideas from drawing materials. And this might be helpful. Some of you, it might be helpful, maybe not, it's up to you. But I want you to kind of get a sense of what is an expressive idea. So she writes, sheer, veil, noisy, film, shaky, blanket, calm, serene, edgy, nervous, and so on. And I want you to kind of look at the marks that you've made, and often with a different type of a writing, maybe with a regular old pencil to make these marks, and kind of ask yourself, like, what does this feel like? What's going on when I look at these marks like this? And this kind of radiating out here, I don't know, actually, I like the word radiating. I'm going to put radiating. I'm going to put projection, perhaps. This, and I don't know if you can actually see this here. Can you see this on the video? This is where I was using the compressed graphite at the edge. It's very, very faint. It's kind of like, oh gosh, what's the word I want to use here? Maybe smoky. It's like veil, like Mary Hatefully had the word veil in there. It's kind of like egg white. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the better word, egg white. It's kind of translucent. Anyway, hopefully you get the picture here, is that you're playing with materials, you're working with the materials, you're not using the materials, and you're exploring the way that you hold your hand, the weight of your hand, the motion, the direction, and seeing where it goes. And, and then also, don't forget, for sure, use a different notebook. This is just my regular sketch notebook, but you use a different notebook, different types of paper, and maybe you get some tissue paper. What kind of feelings, expressive potential are coming from tissue paper? Maybe different colors of tissue paper. What would the charcoal look like on this kind of paper? Or like wax paper, what would it look like with wax paper? How would the marks that you make with charcoal and graphite and crayons, how would they change? Maybe different kinds of tracing paper would be interesting to play with. Looking at exploring the way that these types of substrates make different possibilities. And how about some cardboard? How about cardboard that has printing on it? Cardboard that has tape, that's been taped. Pull a box apart and see what kind of structural changes this substrate would create with the various materials that you've got. Cool sounds as well. Okay, so that's the idea of these material inquiries following Mary Hatefully. Read about material inquiry as well. It's on Canvas, and have fun. Have fun. these things are friends. These things are friends with ideas of their own and with stories to tell, and have fun kind of bringing those stories out, making those stories real and rich.